So, welcome to general interest meeting of Robotics Club. As you can see, the classroom code is there. So, a little bit different this year. I've renamed it, I guess, unofficially. I kind of asked my supervisor if I could, and she's like, "Well, I'll look into it," and never got back to me. So I just renamed it anyway. So I renamed it Robotics Engineering and Architecture Club. Just I know that there is some confusion with like STEM club. So people take STEM in middle school and they think STEM club is going to be just like that, and it's a lot more of the science and gardening kind of aspect of STEM than like the engineering and architecture part. So I wanted to make sure that those names were in the title of the club. So I don't know if anybody can come up with a good abbreviation for it or something. That's fine. Like WEREA. I don't know what that would spell, but I don't know. But that's what that is. So the Google Classroom code you can see there. So that's for the entire club. So the way that we're going to structure that is the robotics engineering and architecture is the club, and then within that club there are teams, and each team could be doing different competitions, or there could be some teams doing the same competition, but they're just a different group of people. Okay, so our mission, every club's got to have a mission. So the mission is to promote student involvement, science, technology, engineering, and math, using higher order and critical thinking skills to design, construct, and program projects for participation in various competitions throughout the state and throughout the nation. So, if we are successful with some of these projects, we can compete on the state level. Some of them we do just compete on the state level as it is, but if you are good enough, then you can compete at a national level, which is pretty cool. All right. So we will have mandatory meetings during lunch. Okay. With the the new development that we don't have late buses anymore, uh, I just think we'd have more people here if we have it during lunch. Um, I know it's a pain in the neck for some of you that have might have band or might have lab or something like that, but just let me know and we'll make arrangements for that. I checked, and I think every the mandatory Tuesdays, it hits different days of the week. So if you have lab one month or something like that, and there's a conflict, you shouldn't have another conflict again. Um, we will have Tuesdays and Thursdays after school. I just call them work sessions. So that's just an opportunity for you to come in and work. Um, you can come in also any day during lunch, except for Mondays to work as well. Okay, so that's kind of on you. Like I'm not making them mandatory, but if you want your project or your robot or your team to be successful, you need to make sure that that's a priority, that you're coming in and you're working. I do have a group of students that still have come in, even though we didn't even start robotics yet. They come in at lunch and they hang. I don't think they're doing much work yet, but they do come in and they eat their lunch here, and that's fine. Okay. Um, it's time for you to get together with your group and work and work. Okay. Um, it's at your availability, and days and times may change. Okay. So I also am the head coach for the JV ice hockey team, and I'm assistant for the varsity ice hockey team. So once the winter sports start, I get very busy, especially after school. The nice thing about hockey is a lot of times the practices are later. They're not right after school, so we can still have robotics, or I just refer to it as robotics, but we can still have our meetings after school. I have also spoken with Mr. Conroy, who's going to be my assistant robotics person advisor, and he says that if there's meetings that I can't make or work sessions I can't make, that he's going to try and jump in and be there for those. So again, it's opportunity for you to work. It's something that you need to do on your own. Okay, if you don't show up for a couple weeks, that's on you. Okay, it's your job to be here. You're older at this point. You're not a middle school kid where I'm going to be on top of you. If you're missing for 2 or 3 weeks and without telling anybody, then we're just going to assume you're not doing it anymore. Okay, I know somebody almost had that problem last year who wasn't around for a while, and nobody knew if he was in the group or not, and we could only bring a certain number of kids to competition because there were still COVID restrictions. So he almost missed out on coming with us. Okay, and it was nothing personal with him, but it was just the fact that nobody knew and nobody had talked to them about that. Okay, so any changes to the schedule, things like that, will be posted in Google Classroom in the main one there. Okay. All right, requirements for being a member. Lots of requirements, but kind of really not. All right, you're going to return the signed permission slip and the rules. Those should have been posted in Google Classroom. If not, I will post them right after this meeting. You have to pay the student activity fee to the school. It's $100, but that also it's a one-time fee. It covers sports. It covers this club. It covers other clubs and activities. It's a one-time fee, so that ends up going to the main office. You need to pay a robotics club materials fee, so that comes to me. Some people have already handed me that check already. Thank you very much. It's $35. You make it out to West Essex School District, and with that, you get a T-shirt. Okay, we have a robotics club T-shirt. You get a T-shirt with that, but it also goes to paying for some of the materials that we use. Okay, it's really a drop in the bucket compared to what we end up spending, but it does help out with that stuff. Also, I ask you to raise a minimum of $100 for each fundraiser that we have. Okay, so we do Krispy Kreme fundraisers. We are going to be selling blankets and stuff like that. So if you can sell $100 worth of stuff each time. So essentially, if you can sell $200 worth of stuff for the whole school year between blankets and donuts, then you're in good shape. Again, that helps us a lot. I actually was meeting with my supervisor at the end of last year, and we were talking about things, and I wanted a whole lot of Vex Robotics pieces. And she's like, we just don't have it. We just can't do it. And I was like, well, can we take it out of our robotics account? And she looked into it, and there was more than enough money in there from all of the donut sales that we had the previous year. So it directly helped us out in buying stuff for this year. So we want to make sure we keep that going. You want to make all mandatory robotics meetings. Obviously, if you have lab or band or something like that, and there's a conflict, you let me know and you can be excused. But if you are here in school and you're available, you need to be at the mandatory meetings. We have them once a month. It's kind of like a check-in to be like, okay, this is where these groups are. This is where it's at. So if you have missed a couple days, those are good meetings to go to so we can catch up on everybody. It's kind of like, okay, where are we at with these competitions, these teams? You're going to attend all the competitions that your team is participating in. I will give you as much heads up as possible. A lot of the competitions are on Saturdays or over the weekend. Okay, so I will let you know, like when we have those individual competitions, I'll tell you about those. There are a couple that are during the school year, or during the school day. So those are nice as well. We get the day off and we get to go drive robots around and things like that. It's fun. Make a meaningful contribution to the success of your team, meaning you don't just show up and sit in the corner and let other people work and design and build. You actually participate and work. Okay, and that's going to come from your group mates and your teammates. Okay, so just like the one person that wasn't around and everybody's like, I don't know where he's been, there's a group of people that are like, hey, this person, they show up, but they're doing their homework, they're on the phone, they're doing 100 other things besides helping us. Then I'm going to probably say, you know what, it's probably best if you don't come to the competition. Okay, so make sure you're contributing to your team's success. Obviously, I want you to be a part of Google Classroom so you know everything that's going on, and then subscribe to Remind 101. So essentially, all you have to do is text at WE-Robo to 81010, and that'll get you on that list. Okay, so that way when we go to competitions and things like that, there will be times where maybe we're scattered throughout the building, or people go to get lunch or get food or something like that. It's like, hey, we need to get together. We need to get on the bus, something like that. That's how we'll communicate when we're at competitions and away from school. Anybody have any questions on that? Pretty straightforward, I think. Okay. All right, these are our uniforms. It's just a West Essex Robotics t-shirt. So I have a whole bunch of t-shirts still left over. So when you hand me your check, I will give you a shirt. If you already have a shirt and you want another shirt, you're certainly entitled to that. Just let me know what size. If I don't have your size, I'll have to order a whole bunch of shirts, which I can definitely do if need be. But we have a black West Essex Robotics t-shirt, khaki pants or jeans, just no sweats. Let's look semi-professional. Wear a belt, wear nice, clean shoes, things like that. We want to look nice. Okay, we don't want to look like we just woke up and rolled out of bed, even though that's probably what most of us did. We want to at least appear like we're a team. Okay. Um, for some competitions, we've gone with a theme, so we usually decide that a week or two ahead, so that people can buy stuff if they need to. Okay. In the past, we've worn like Hawaiian shirts, we've worn like Hawaiian leis, like the flower necklaces, and we've worn like aviator sunglasses. So like I have a whole bunch that I got like off Amazon, like I bought like 20 for $20. So I have a bunch of those. So if we decide, hey, we want to go do that, then we can. Like there's some competitions, especially like North Jersey, where there's a team spirit award, and there's, I forget the name of the award, but it's like how well you interact with other teams, like your friendliness award. So a lot of times, like we'd bring like extra leis, and when we were competing with teams, we would give them the leis or give them the aviators or something like that, just to be like, hey, we're working together, we're a team. Something like that. So we can discuss that before the competition. It's generally not good to discuss that the night before. So, we give people time to do that. But if we want to change up our uniform a little bit, we can do that. But we want to make sure there's obviously a consensus. Okay. So again, if you need a shirt, let me know ahead of time. Let me know when you give me your check, so I can give you one, or I can make sure I get one ordered. Okay. We also unofficially have an Instagram account. Okay, so unofficially, I mean by like my supervisor like knows, but she doesn't know. Like she knows I post stuff online, but she's like, I don't know that you have an Instagram account. So it's unofficial at this point. Okay, I'm hoping to make it official soon. So if you're shooting any videos, taking any pictures, and you want to post them, obviously make sure you have the people in the photos consent. But I definitely would love to see people, use the tag and tag us in it, or post it to our account and things like that. So we can promote this beyond the school. Okay, because far too often a lot of good stuff is happening here. People are working, people are building, we're having a good time, whatever, and just nobody else knows about it. So the more we can promote it, the better. Okay. All right. So this is getting into the individual teams. So I have this slide at the very end of the competition as well, for the classroom codes. So I'm going to go through this quick, and it'll be on the slide at the end. So these are the different teams or different groups that we have. We have Vex Robotics competition, which is kind of ongoing right now. So we're going to start up pretty soon, right away. We have Mate Robotics, which is an underwater robot we haven't done in 2 or 3 years, and I'm really excited that we have some interest in it from students, and it's coming back. It's a very difficult competition, and it's all year long, but it's a good one. There's a lot involved. North Jersey Robotics competition, that's one that we actually have during the school day. It's actually a Tuesday and a Thursday competition, so that week is kind of a nice week for those involved. You get off on Tuesday, we get to go drive robots around. We come back to school on Wednesday, and then we go back to the competition on Thursday. Technology Student Association is a group of like 41 different engineering and architecture and design competitions. So that one is kind of like you would sign up for that, or you and a group of people could sign up for that. You pick your theme that you want to compete in, and you work on it on your own schedule. And we just have like periodic check-ins, and then you submit it. So that's a state competition. If you come in the top 3, you qualify for nationals, and you can go to nationals and compete for scholarships and notoriety. And if you're thinking of STEM or engineering, design, architecture, anything like that for college, TSA is a great thing to have on your college transcript. Even just participating in it is good on your transcripts. Architecture competitions, that's a new one. So I kind of grouped that together. We could also group that with engineering competitions if you're just interested in doing an engineering competition. There are architecture ones in the TSA competition, so there is a little overlap, but there are a couple of architectural competitions, student competitions out there that people can do if they're interested in it. So I know I've had some people, I have an architecture class that people have taken, and they're still interested in working on architecture projects and things like that. So that would be a good one to do. if you're interested in architecture. Steam Tank Challenge. Steam Tank is a state thing where you come up with a challenge, you pitch this challenge. It's very much like Shark Tank, but it's more engineering based. So if you've ever seen that show, Shark Tank, very similar. But I'll go through it here. We're going to go through each of them. Okay, VEX. So teams of students are tasked with designing and building a robot to play against other teams in a game-based engineering challenge. So you go there with your robot, you get matched up with another robot, and you play in a 2 versus 2 game. So we already know what the game is, so we design our robot for that, and we go and do that. There's generally somewhere between 7 to 9 matches in a day, so you can get paired up with 7 to 9 different robots, and you go against teams of 2, 7 to 9 times. Tournaments are held year-round. Typically, we do one in December, one in January, and one in February. Last year, we were good enough that one of our teams not only made the playoffs in the daily tournament, but made it to the finals and lost in the finals. So it was a really, really good event for us. Before then, I think we'd made the playoffs twice. So the bar is set pretty high. I expect at this point for VEX teams to make the playoffs every time now. And at this point, our goal for this year is to win a competition, which I absolutely think we can. Okay. Competitions are held from April to April. All right. If anybody has to leave, remember I'm recording this, so I will post this on the Google Classroom page so you can check out the rest of it. All right. I'm going to keep going. So competitions are April to April. They announced it last April. There's a video online of what the competition is. I'm going to actually play that for you in a second. And then, like I said, competitions are Saturdays, probably one in December, one in January, one in February. Okay, let's see.
2022-2023 VEX Robotics competition season. And this year's game, VRC Spin-Up. VRC Spin-Up is a head-to-head game that is played by 2 alliances, one red and one blue, made up of 2 teams each. The primary game objects in VRC Spin-Up are yellow foam discs. Discs are 140 millimeters in diameter and 20 millimeters thick. There are 60 discs total in a spin-up match, 38 that start on the field, 2 preloads per robot, and 7 match loads per alliance. Discs can be scored in the 2 high goals, 1 per alliance, at opposite corners of the field. Each disc scored in a high goal is worth 5 points. However, robots that are aiming for the high goal had better be accurate, because underneath each high goal is a 1-point low goal for the opposing alliance. In addition to launching discs, robots can also spin the 4 rollers mounted to the field perimeter. Rollers are 250 millimeters long and 60 millimeters in diameter. If the area inside of a roller's pointers only shows one color, then that roller is considered owned by that alliance. Each owned roller is worth 10 points. Each match begins with a 15-second autonomous period, where robots operate without input from their drivers. In addition to competing for the autonomous bonus, each alliance also has the opportunity to earn an additional autonomous win point by owning both rollers on their side of the field and scoring at least 2 discs in their high goal. The 1-minute 45-second driver control period begins once the autonomous bonus winner has been determined. During the driver control period, robots can pick up discs from the ground or receive match load discs through the loader. As the clock winds down, it's time for the end game. At the end of the match, alliances will receive a 3-point bonus for each tile their robots are covering. So, during the last 10 seconds of the match, there are no horizontal expansion limits. The VRC Spin-Up can also be played in robot skills challenges where one team...
All right, so that's a quick overview of what the VEX competition is. We will be meeting, like I said, I think maybe tomorrow or Thursday to discuss this more in depth. So we're going to have 2 VEX teams in Robotics Club. There's also going to be 2 VEX teams coming from the engineering design class. So in total, we'll have 4 robots, but only 2 from the club. Okay. So if you have like questions about that, it's probably best that you just see me individually or just wait till we have the meeting. All right, Vex. Mate is the underwater robot. Okay, remotely operated vehicle. Okay, so this is a long range project. It's going to take the whole school year to do. Okay, so we start now. It feels like it's a long way off, but there's a lot to do. Essentially, what you're doing is they give you a task, and you create a company that builds robots, and you're pitching your robot to them to complete this task. So you not only have to build a robot, make the robot perform, but you also give a presentation on your robot, like you're selling it to them. Okay. You also have to discuss the costs involved, how much it's going to cost to build your robot, how much you're selling it to them for, how efficient it is, things like that. The last time we did it, I believe the challenge was they made like models of World War II airplanes, and you had to identify the plane by the tail fin. You had to identify which plane was which, and then your robot had to go down and retrieve certain ones. So you create a company, you create a logo, you create a brand, you create a poster board. Some groups do business cards and brochures. And like you're supposed to like come in as if like they're the government, and you're like, hey, my company can go retrieve these planes. We can build you robots for this much. We'll sell them to you for this much. Let us prove to you how good our robot is, and then you go and do it. Okay, so you want to think of yourselves as a company. Okay, so I forget what they came up with in the past, but like their acronym was like ASS. It was like Aquatic Subsystems or something like that. It was whatever. Okay, so we've gone out to Villanova University. That's like a full day on a Saturday, somewhere late April, early May, and we go and compete. Okay, uh, in the past we've not done well in this competition. Okay, mostly because of my inexperience. I'll admit it. I wasn't very experienced with it. So the first year we went, we lasted about 15, 30 seconds, and then there was like a fizzling sound, and the robot just sank. And then the second year we went, we used the wrong motors. The motors we thought we were using in the directions said we could use them, and they were actual underwater motors. But when we came in for inspection, the inspectors would not let us use them. So we did all that work. We went all that way out to Villanova and couldn't even compete. So it was very disappointing. So also to that, we had one person who was like kind of in charge, and he was in band and he ran track and he did other sports. So he was not fully invested in it and kind of tried to throw it together in the last like month.
What year was this?
This was 3 years ago. 2019. Okay. So that's the underwater robot. Okay. And then this is a video of this is probably one of the better robots that I've seen. So sometimes it's like one competition. I think our first year there was a lot of PVC stuff down there. You had to go down and like move, turn valves, and pick things up and move them around. So it's different every year. So, and I believe they've already posted some stuff about things. This was like you have to like release certain things. So it can be very complicated, but at the same time, it's only as complicated as you make it. So if we start off very simple and get the basics done, then we can add to it. If we start off trying to build a robot like that, we're just going to be overwhelmed. But we can start basic and go from there. Okay? And as you can see, I don't know if you can see kind of in the top there, there's a tether to it. So it's not like a remote control, it's just remotely operated. So we have wires that go from our control box down to the robot. Okay? And again, we'll talk about this more in depth at the actual meeting. All right. North Jersey Robotics. This one we've been off for a whole bunch of years. I think it's 3 years or 2 years we've been off because of COVID. It's very similar to Vex in that you use a kit, but then you can also use other stuff. You can like use like wood, pieces of wood, aluminum cans, fiberglass, plexiglass, all sorts of things they allow. And generally, like when you come up and you go in for the first day, there's 2 tasks to perform on that first day. So it's your robot performing a task. A lot of times they base it off carnival games, so it's like, you have to like a ring toss, your robot has to throw rings at something. Or one year it was like a marble, so you had it was like a big game of marbles. They had the plastic golf balls all laid out, and your robot picked up regular golf balls and shot the golf balls at the plastic ones, and it was how many you could get out of the zone. So that's like the first day. You have the 2 competitions, and you have 3 attempts at each competition, and you have to use a different driver for every competition. Day 2, they take those 2 challenges and they put together an obstacle course. So your robot has to drive around, complete a task, then drive around again, complete a task, then drive around some more, and it's a time thing. And again, you have 3 attempts at it with 3 different drivers. So at a minimum, for our one robot, we need to have 9 people involved in that team. Okay, so we have 9 different drivers. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into it, but it's a fun competition. I've always liked it. We actually, because you also have to give a presentation on your robot. They call it a STEM presentation, where you go in, you talk about your design, you talk about what went well, some setbacks you had, how you overcame them, and I give them a lot of credit. The last time we competed, they gave an awesome presentation, and there's a trophy up on top there, that big cup. They won that because they had a really great presentation. Okay, the robot was actually did very well, but we got points off because of our documentation. But the robot performed well, and they performed exceptionally well in the presentation part. So they absolutely deserve that trophy. This is a video that they put online. This is from 2019. This is kind of like a recap of everything. So this is at Shea County Community College, so it's pretty close by. Okay, so you can sit in the bleachers and watch as all the robots are performing. At some point they'll get to the robots. So for this one, you had to pick up these they're like plastic sleds, but they call them rings, and you put the rings on top of the posts. So if you can put it on the higher post, you get more points. If you chose one of the rings that had the smaller hole and you could get it on a post, you get more points. So there was strategy. This is that marble thing. So you're shooting marbles at or golf balls at these other golf balls, and you had to perform that one. Okay, so this is a fun one. This one doesn't start until like January. So this is more like late winter, early spring. Okay, this is a presentation part where they talk about their robots. This is the obstacle course. You see there's green lines there, so your robot has to stay in those green lines when it drives. And then, like, had to do certain things like knock the golf ball off the top or something like that. What they do with the obstacle course is they try and make it so that all the robots can do it. So, say for example, I'm gonna stop this. So, say for example, with the ring toss, if none of the robots could put a ring on the top rung, on the top post, they won't include that in the obstacle course. So that's why there's a day off in between. They kind of evaluate what all of the robots could do, and they design the obstacle course that way. Then when we show up on Thursday, nobody knows what it is. We get to see it then. All right, TSA, Technology Student Association, like I mentioned, bunch of different competitions. Starts in December or January, and there's statewide competition in April. Okay, top place earners in states earn an opportunity to go to nationals. These are all the different types of competitions you can compete in. You can build animatronics, that's like a robot. Okay, architectural design, that'll be more for the architectural competition group. Biotechnology, we can't do board game design because my engineering graphics class is doing that. Okay, you can write a children's story. How hard is that? Write a children's story. Coding, CAD work, cybersecurity, digital video production, engineering design, fashion design, flight endurance, forensics, music production, on-demand video, photographic technology, scientific visualization, control systems, control technology, transportation modeling, Vex Robotics. They have a Vex competition there. Video game design, webmaster, like all of those things. So if you're interested in any of those things, I would suggest showing up to the first Technology Student Association meeting we have. So that'll probably be, I think, like late January or some point in January. All right, next is
The New Jersey
Steam
School
Tank.
Boards Association and the U.S. Army are proud to announce the second annual Steam Tank Challenge.
This video is a little old.
The project brings everything together for all the students, and this is the future of learning.
It's endless what opportunities can be done with this.
Just as inventors in the television show Shark Tank compete to move their ideas forward, student teams in Steam Tank appear before judges at NJSBA's annual conference to gain recognition for their innovative ideas. The challenge provides an avenue for students and their teachers to enhance and promote the integrative STEAM initiatives taking place in Jersey schools.
It was really cool working together. I really enjoyed it just because I got to help out a lot. I enjoyed working with other people to finish this product. It was pretty fun.
It was definitely a learning experience for sure.
The most
We can go past the testimonials, but for that, essentially there's 3 design criteria. Your design has to have some element of sustainability. You can either create something brand new or you can improve on an existing invention. That's it. So if you've always been like, man, I just want to do my own thing, I just want to create my own thing, this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to do it and gain some recognition for it. Okay? It starts off in the first round by creating a video. So you create a video with a group of your friends or whatever, saying, this is my idea, this is a little bit of the background research I've done, and you submit your video. If they like your video, they'll say, hey, we want to see you develop this further. Let's see you come to regionals in the spring. So you work on it more, you create your presentation, and then you pitch it in the spring. And then if you're really good, you have an opportunity to go to nationals, or not nationals, but go to states. I think it's in the fall, next fall. Okay. Again, if you're just looking to do something like I just want to do my own thing and you want minimal design criteria, this is a great thing for that. Okay. So we can go into that more when that comes up. Architectural design competitions. Right now, I just have the 2 from TSA, but I know Discover Design has a bunch, so I haven't really investigated that yet. So when we start, we'll talk more about that. But if you're interested in just doing architectural projects, I would say sign up for this classroom. Okay. All right. So some fundraisers we're doing. We do the usual. Okay. So the $35 fee that I talked about before. Krispy Kreme fundraiser. I have fall. Those dates have changed. So add a week to each of those dates. I thought I updated it. Okay. So we're starting today. Donuts are due back on the 27th. Donuts will be delivered on October 20th. Okay, there are forms up by the door, so when you leave, grab a form. Again, it's requested that you sell $100 worth of donuts. That's 10 dozen donuts. That's not a lot. Okay, the donuts will come in on Thursday. It's a Thursday, so tell your mom or your dad if they work in an office, be like, hey, order a couple dozen. They come in on Thursday. Boom, you bring them in Friday morning. You're the best person in the office. Okay. So they get delivered during unit lunch on the 20th. So you're expected to come get your donuts at that point, and then you distribute them to everybody on your list. Okay. We are also going to be selling blankets. I have they're like sweatshirt blankets. So we're going to sell them tonight at back to school night. And we're also going to sell them at the football games, the Caldwell game on the 23rd. And then there's a game on the 21st, October 21st, that we're going to sell at as well. Okay, so we'll have a table. Anybody wants to volunteer to man the table, you will get credit for all blankets sold. Okay, so I think blankets are going to be like $30. So if you sell 3 blankets while you're there you go. That's almost your 100. Okay, if there's 2 of you there, though, then you have to split it. Okay, but I'll be there as well. Okay, so we do need volunteers for that. I will put a post in Google Classroom when it gets close. I know a couple people have talked to me about tonight. I thank you for that, and we'll do that. Okay.
You say we get credit for some stuff. What do you mean?
Like that goes towards the $100 you should be selling for each fundraiser. Okay, so in total, you should generate $200 worth of things, whether it's donuts, coffee, or blankets. So if you sell $90 worth of blankets, then you have to sell $110 worth of donuts for the rest of the year. Okay. All right, so this is our upcoming schedule. I think this is all updated. I just did it last period. So Thursday the 15th. So this week, the 15th, we will meet for VEX. So if you're interested in VEX, come on Thursday to lunch. Okay. If you're interested in MATE, come next Tuesday. Okay. All your permission slips and fees should be in by next week. No, that's this Friday. Okay. Try and get them to me by this Friday. If you can't, get them to me ASAP. Okay. Steam Tank Challenge, we will meet next Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. That's today. We're not meeting today. Okay, so Steam Tank will be on the 20th. We will go over CAD lab rules and safety. Okay, everybody needs to go through that. We will have one meeting during lunch on Thursday, the 22nd, one on Tuesday, the 20th, and one after school on the 20th. You only have to attend one of them. Okay, but those are the 3 that we will have. So make sure you can attend one of those. If you have me in class for like engineering design, we'll probably go over it then as well, so you don't have to do it twice. The first TSA meeting will be when we get back from winter break on the 4th. Our first North Jersey Robotics meeting will be the next day on the 5th, and architectural competitions will be TBD. So just make sure you're signed up for that Google Classroom if you are interested in it. To review, I just did that, right? Requirements of being a member. We've gone through that. So I'm going to change the fundraise a minimum of $100. I'll just say minimum of $200 for the year. So we're going to have 2 opportunities to sell donuts, and you have an opportunity to sell blankets. Okay, so you should be able to hit the 200, no problem. Like I said, that's 20 dozen donuts. You should be able to find it. And I can't stress enough, people in the school love to buy donuts. The secretaries, guidance counselors, the teachers, they all look forward to this. I get emails all the time. How come your students haven't talked to me? How come this? How come that? Just mention it to people. I know it's hard sometimes. You're shy or whatever. Just be like, hey, I'm selling Krispy Kreme donuts. Anybody interested? There's always somebody interested. Get your friends to buy them. They will regret not buying them when they come in. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I should have bought it. Okay? Be the hero. Make them buy your donuts. All right, and then to review, these are the Google Classroom codes in case you missed them. Okay, so we got VEX, we got MATE, we got North Jersey, TSA, Architecture, and Steam Tank. Okay, that's it. The remind code doesn't work, huh? Okay, I will fix that then. Or I will reenact it. Any questions? All right, if you have questions, you can ask me, email me, or whatever. Thank you for coming. Please make sure you grab a donut form on your way out so you can sell donuts. I greatly appreciate it.